So I think that's really the most important contribution that we here in the U.S. can make, to keep an eye on our government, to demand that they stay out of things, and to expose their hypocrisy, to involve more people in the democratic and anti-war movements here. That's probably the single most important contribution people here can make.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last week, we gave over the program to psychotherapist Harriet Fraad, who talked how the Great Recession is taking a shocking toll on American family life, causing violence and child abuse. She has a solution, a new economic system with a lot of new family benefits.
In Germany, the unions have managed to achieve two things. One is, if they get any money from the German government, they're not allowed to lay off anybody below management. Good idea. The Irish had a threatened general strike, and when they did, the auto workers there accepted a 3% cut instead of the 50% cut in wages that GM accepted, without any general strike threatened. In Germany, one of the things that they are in the process of demanding is that any big company like Deutsche Telekom, which is a big company that wants government money, has got to change the board of directors. So it isn't just shareholders and wealthy CEOs, it's the employees are on it who don't want to do themselves out of a job by some risky maneuver, the people in the neighborhood who will be affected by that company, the people who are ecologists who will see what they're producing and what it does to the environment. They all have to be on the board of directors, which really makes a difference. It makes democracy on the board of directors. Smart idea. We would also have to do what they do all over Europe, which is proportional representation, which means that whatever proportion of the votes you get, that group that you're in gets that proportion of the seats in Congress and Senate. Another thing that they'd have to do, which is what they do in France and Germany, is no private money accepted. The government gives every party that's running a certain amount of money. They have 2 weeks to run. They have equal media time. That's it. So that you don't have people buying the election. Billions aren't spent to basically bribe people to vote for one candidate and enrich these television stations while people who have another point of view never get heard, no less represented. So that would be those would be very important changes that could be part of a movement here. You'd also have to say, we have to create support for our future, for children and families. A system like the French daycare system. $1 an hour before children are 1, and heavy family subsidies, because it's a lot of work doing a family, which people know it's a lot of work, with after-school programs, summer programs, and childcare. In France, if your kid is home for the summer, it's $15 a week, but it can never be more than 10% of your income that you're paying for childcare. And they have wonderful programs because they're heavily subsidized. And if they ever try to cut them, millions of people are in the street. Americans are so depressed and so despairing that they're doing nothing but an occasional, actually 12 men in the last month took control and shot people. Another thing would be a single-payer health plan, which is the government is the single payer. Everybody gets a card. All medications are regulated. All doctors' salaries are regulated. The highest a doctor can get if he's a fancy surgeon is $600,000 a year in American currency. I would think that's a nice living. And obviously, they wouldn't allow what they allow now, which is big subsidies from medical companies so that doctors will prescribe their products. And you'd also have to say, you'd have to define what it is to care for somebody. What is emotional labor? What is it that women do with children? What is it that people do who are early childhood educators, who are nurses, who are social workers, who take care of people and give a bonus for that? Say that's a special kind of labor and it ought to be rewarded. which would mean that the lowest paid one among the 10 lowest paid jobs in the United States, which is a child care worker, would not be that anymore. You'd have a different set of values which you'd show with a paycheck.
There was a lady, she was from northern Italy, a very intelligent woman from the industrialized side of northern Italy. She came here to give a talk. And she says, I can't understand you Americans. You have to go on Title 19 and give up your home, your money, and for what for? In our system, they take care of the people. So the taxes that we pay in the United States is not taking care of the people, we're taking care of the bureaucrats.
And also the military, because nobody has this.
If you listen to the Fox station the last couple of weeks about Barack Obama, Rich Limbaugh, we're fascists, we're socialists, but we do have socialism in America. We're on Medicare. Medicare is a form of government health care. Medicaid, which is run by the government on a state level, is a government program. So what's wrong with socialism? We don't want to get into fascism or dictatorship or Nazism, but socialism takes care of people.
It does, and we should have it.
When we were in Holland, the lady said, we pay taxes to take care of the poor and the destitute. That's where our taxes go. But we don't have to worry about our health. Our health is always taken care of.
Children's education.
And that's why the immigrants that come from Portugal, that come from Italy, and come from some of the countries take a dual citizenship. So they stay here for 20 years, they go back to their country, they get their medical taken care of.
That's right.
You see?
That's right, it's right, but because, you know, also, we spend more on military than the next 45 most militarized nations in the world. That's where our money going. That's the elephant in the budget room.
We shouldn't even
that
be
should
there.
be cut. I mean, there's...
That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller, and this is The Struggle.